Okay, Assalamualaikum student. This is my third lecture, third video on the research methodology. So for this video, I'm going to show you some of the examples given. This slide. I give a credit to Dr. Nurjan Salika, Prof. Nadia actually, Prof. Nadia, Dr. Nurjan Salika from Shah Alam. I downloaded from UFuture. I take it from UFuture. We can go and see. There's a lot of good slides regarding the proposals, especially 100 from her folder. Okay, so in this slides, it shows some example, research methodology example, research model and system development life cycle. System development life cycle. This is for those who are doing system development. What about for those from CS230? So what you are going to do? What type of development that you are going to choose? So in that case, you can use a research model. So in this video, I will show you some of the example, a research model example, or we call it as a research framework. Okay, so detailed research methodology part where each big task research methodology approach is elaborate more. I will elaborate more. Okay, this is example. Example one. The title is FTMSK Alumni Information Repository. Okay, so it uses SDLC and then encompasses of 5 phases. So you can see here, these are the diagrams. So madam, do we need to draw the diagram? Yes. Where you want to put this diagram, you can put it in 3 point, after the introduction. It's either 3.1 or 3.2, the overview of your research methodology. Okay, so you need to have this kind of diagram. In this diagram, it will illustrate the phases of the methodology. In the middle of it, it represents the activity that will going to be carried out, and the third column would be the deliverables or the outcome from the activities. So each phases may have more than one activity, and each phases may have more than one deliverable. Okay. So these are example how it convert the SDLC into the research framework or research methodology, method, activities, and deliverable. I will give you the slides and you may read it later. And each phase, so this slide is a detailed activities on each phase. So um, for example, okay, the phase one is a planning, and the activity for the phase one is feasibility study. And what are the activities that would be carried out under the feasibility study? So you list it out here. Okay, then you specify the deliverable. Okay, so madam, do we have to explain it in a written? Yes. You kena cerita lah macam mana, how you define a problem statement, how you define an objective, you define a problem. So in a written, in your writing, you have to explain how you define the problem statement. You went to the place, went to the problem, and you do some interview, and from the interview you got a conclusion and so on. Okay, and these are examples for phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, phase 5. Okay, these are another example, development of web-based online homestay booking system. Okay, so the example, okay, these are example 5. Okay, you look here, these are requirement analysis phases, apa yang dibuat. Dia analyze requirement based on raw data from primary resources, analyze requirement. Okay, dia guna rational rules, deliverable, system requirement, and requirements model. Okay, so this is example 6. So now we are going to go to each of the phases. Okay. So what is system design? The process or art of defining the architecture, components, module, interfaces, and data for a system to satisfy specific requirements. Okay. So one could see it as the application of system theory to product development. So includes overlap with disciplines of system analysis, system architecture, and system engineering. So in design, kat sini you akan define the architecture. Architecture including the data architecture and the system function itself, the components, the modules, apa yang ada, the interfaces, how many user yang ada per table and so on. Okay. And then it might have a logical design. Okay. And then apa yang ada dalam logical design? You may have data flow diagram, ERD. Okay. And then these are explained about data flow diagram, example of data flow diagram. You have learned it before. Kau dah lupa, boleh buka balik buku information system development, buku database, okay, ERD. And then my suggestion is, to begin with your design, first you have to identify your system requirement. What are the function and what are the data that will involve? Then you identify the table, identify the attribute, identify the relationship, and consult with your supervisor. Don't consult your supervisor bila dah siap satu chapter 3 baru nak consult. No. Okay, you may ask your supervisor. The consult with your supervisor during the construction of research methodology. Okay, sebab bila dah consult last minute nanti, dia tak ada masa nak tengok focus on ERD. So what you can do is masa tengah buat ni, tengah design, kita jumpa, dia cerita, tunjuk all the design, last kali baru you compile, okay, show the overall of your chapter 2. Okay. So physical design relates to the actual input and output process of the system in terms of how data is being input into the system, how it is verified, how it is processed, how it is displayed as output. So dalam physical design, you may want to design the interfaces. You may want to know what are the functions and so on. Okay. Now I will proceed on the model development or framework development. So for those who are not developing a system like CS2 for CS2 students, okay, it's not necessary you have to follow the SDLC or system development life cycle. Tapi you tak buat sistem pun, you buat benda lain, you buat on algorithm development and testing. You develop an algorithm, you test, you tak buat sistem lah senang kata. So it's not necessary you have to follow SDLC and system development, no. Okay. This is an example. This project titled Multi-Perspective Microsourcing Ecosystem Model in Malaysia. So dia buat model ni apa, is a framework. So this person, dia punya research is dia develop a model for microsourcing. Okay. So dia punya step, dia kata dia buat theoretical study, data collection, data analysis, conclusion and report. So these are the steps. So for those who are not developing a system, you mungkin tak buat data design, you tak buat system design, tak. Okay. Tapi kalau you develop a algorithm, you may have an algorithm design. Okay. So you may have a research question, and then ini research model dia. Dia tak ada, dia tu student, dia all tak ada hypothesis. Okay, so CS2 3O student, for those yang ada soalan, boleh tanya saya. Dan for those CS2 3O yang buat system development, you can use SDLC of course. Okay, tapi yang buat sentiment mining ke, buat data mining ke, so you may not use SDLC lah in your research methodology. Okay class, see you in the next video.